Welcome to Melt. I'm Suresh Venkat, and this week we are coming to you from the Mumbai offices of Wunderman Thompson, one of the country's oldest legacy network agencies. We are here to talk to Shamsuddin Jasani, the CEO of Wunderman Thompson South Asia, who's all set to complete a year on the job. Shams has set a bold target to double the revenue of the agency in just 3 years. What's the strategy to achieve this target? Let's find out as we get ready to melt with Shamsuddin Jasani. So Shams, when you took over as CEO of Wunderman Thompson, one of India's legacy network agencies, what was your SWOT analysis of the company?
I think the exact point is legacy. Now, legacy is sometimes misconstrued as being bad, and especially in today's world, it's seen to have any kind of legacy as a baggage. I think Wunderman Thompson, what used to be called JWT, has an absolutely wonderful legacy. It's one of the leading agencies in India for 9 decades now. So I think taking that as a legacy, taking that as a foundation, taking the love for what the brand has, taking the love for what people have for it, and then kind of bringing it into the new age, I think that's what really it's all about. So the strength really is about the people, the culture, the background, and the love that the brand has and the business has. I think 50 to 60% of the marketers, whether they belong to the marketing side or the agency side, at some point in time touched base with JWT or Wunderman Thompson. So that's, I think, a wonderful
strength bucket we have
there. Weakness, I wouldn't say weakness. I think it's an opportunity. It's really to take, as I said, that and into the new age, the new world. I think that really is the opportunity that is there. So I think that's the opportunity that we have in front of us. Threats, I wouldn't call it threats. I would call it changes that are happening in the ecosystem. I think the biggest changes happened in the last 2 years. We've all seen it happening. And the speed of change that is there and the adaptability to that change, I think that really is one of the key things to look at.
And you've set an ambitious target of doubling revenue in 3 years. And with the potential recession looming around the corner, Europe and America, how are you going to pull this off?
Which is exactly the case in point. Wunderman Thompson, as you know, is an agency which is not just talking about the creative side of the business, but also technology and consulting. So that really puts us in great position because we want to change the discussion from just about creating great campaigns and great marketing to what can we do in the entire, the consumer journey, and where can we add value to clients as a partner, as a consultant partner, as a tech partner, where can we add value to that? And clients are increasingly looking at that. So I feel that in our proposition, we have something which the clients would want even when there is a recession, because recessions want transformation. And the technology and consulting part of our business, along with the creative part of business, will bring in the transformation. So I'm not overtly.
Shams, you personally come from a digital agency background. Yes. Now, to use an analogy, digital agencies are the speedboats. They are small, they're nimble, they're agile, they can zip here and there. Wunderman Thompson is the luxury ocean liner.
Yes.
Right? You go along for the ride, but you can't turn it around quickly and you can't zip from one point to the other.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about how you're going to bring about change with this analysis of speedboat versus luxury liner kind of thing.
So let me put it this way. Let's say that there's a huge luxury liner. While we are reinventing it, while we're redoing it, we're refurbishing it, for lack of better words. We also have these speedboats, which are kind of going ahead and charting out the path and seeing what is the best. Some of those speedboats, those are experimenting.
Okay.
Some of them will fail because that's what it's all about. So I think while we are doing this, while we are making those changes, we also need to put those speedboats out there who are going to experience what's great, what's not. Some things might fail, some things might not. So I think that's the analogy I would use between what we're trying to do.
There's also been a spate of new senior leadership appointments, and I'm going to talk about a chief people officer, a new Mumbai office head. How do you get new joinees excited about joining a legacy agency like Wunderman Thompson?
There is a vision. There's a vision that I have in terms of where the agency of tomorrow looks like, or rather the agency of today itself looks like. And I think we as Wunderman Thompson are very well poised with the legacy that we have to really go to that stage. And we've always been amazing at understanding what consumers want. So our insights, our planning capabilities have always been wonderful. Now, as I've already said, how can I take that learning and apply it to the entire consumer journey and not just on the marketing side of the business, which is where I think a lot of excitement is coming on from people who are wanting to join us, because they also want to expand the horizons. We are taking our learnings and taking it to newer ways, expanding it within the consumers and the clients that are there. So I think that's where it's about. It's about just buying into a vision that we have.
So Shams, what does the agency of tomorrow look like?
It's about taking what we have, 90 years of consumer understanding, doing brilliant insights on what are the likes and dislikes of consumers across categories, across geographies, in India, big, small cities. How do I take that and say, okay, I'm not just going to talk about how can we market to them better, but at what stage in their buying behavior am I going to influence that understanding? So it's not just at saying, okay, let's market to them better, but also what happens to post-purchase journey? What happens after a person buys something? How can I use advocacy, for example, to get more and more to talk about the business? At what stage does tech need to come in, for example, where a lot of, for example, let's take auto category, 90% of research happens online. So at what stage do I need to intervene where I start talking to the consumer? And also increasingly, the consumer does not differentiate between online to offline. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to say that, okay, where on these journeys can I interject to be able to better help clients convert those consumers? The second part to it, we're also not talking just B2C. We need to take that understanding and go to the B2B side of the business, which again is booming. So I think that is where I think the agency of the future is a lot more partnership and a lot less, just about activations and about tactical, a lot more strategic, I would put that way.
Okay. You acquired a company called Miriam recently. What does that do for Wunderman Thompson's Martech capabilities?
Yeah, so Miriam is a digital first agency and amazing Martech capabilities that are there. And that fuels our, again, coming back to the consumer journey, when I'm talking about consumers and when I'm talking to them, the technology stack, and especially when I'm talking about Martech, helps me able to do it at a much faster pace. It helps me to use technologies like AI to be able to convert them and reach out to them at different points in time and tabulate what my reactions should be towards the consumers and a lot of clients are talking about it. So when we spoke about saying that tomorrow's a recession, the clients are still going to spend on how to reinvent themselves, how to go through digital transformation using marketing technologies, and Miriam is front and center of that change that we want to bring in. So yeah, so very happy about Miriam.
Speaking of client spending,
yeah,
the great debate of projects versus retainers. Tell us where you stand on this. Obviously, retainers are much more comfortable for a legacy agency.
Yes,
but projects are much more exciting.
They are.
Yeah.
So I think it's really a matter of understanding where you want to be and what do the clients actually want. We want to be centered around clients, the needs of clients. Again, the discussion is purely on marketing. Is where the discussion is, going from saying, do I need to be retainer or do I need to be on project basis? It's about exciting work. Absolutely want to do project basis. But when we are trying to evolve ourselves and when this journey happens, when we become bigger partners, I think it still becomes more of a retained model, even when we go beyond marketing. And I think that's the discussion we're having with clients, is that, again, the consumer journey, how we can help and how to connect that. The clients are excited about that part and they want to retain us to talk about the larger piece.
Speaking of what clients want, Wunderman Thompson is always known for its strategy and strategic heavy output rather than outrageous creative output, right? I mean, if you see the recent profile of winners at Cannes, Wunderman Thompson's own history with Cannes, etc., is there a perception that you're going to try and change, that you're only known for strategic heavy output and not a creative powerhouse, as it were?
See, strategy is always going to be front and center. Even in the new, the new way of working, I think strategy is going to be extremely important for us. That's still going to be front and center. But no two ways about it. Yes, we will concentrate a lot more on creativity. Yes, that's an important part of where I want to go. I clearly feel that lends itself very well to what our past has also been. We are a creative agency at the end of the day. How do we go into the new world and how do we creatively use technology? I think that is going to define a lot of the forward way of where Wunderman Thompson is going to go. So, of course, what we've been doing in what we say traditional ways of creativity, which is great storytelling, great artwork. But I think the third leg to it, especially with the technology and digital coming in, is is creative use of technology, because that's what digital brings you. So I think absolutely creativity is important, and we will focus a lot more on that.
And how important are awards to you personally and to Wunderman Thompson as an organization?
Personally, I think awards has its place. I think I do feel that awards are important. Let me put it in two ways on how I look at it. Let's say there's a blockbuster film, and then there is a film which receives a lot of accolades and wins a lot of awards. I want to do both. I want the blockbuster film. I want something that we've done, forwarded 100 million times, and it comes back to us from random people saying that this is a great piece of work. That, I mean, that is the best award that we can get, is just the popular kind of work that you do, which everyone starts talking about. And then, of course, awards is about how well you use the medium, how you've taken your craft to the next level. I think that also is extremely critical. So it goes hand in hand. I want to do the popular stuff, absolutely. And I want to do I think the agency wants to win the award. So yes, and that's what Wunderman Thompson.
Okay, both the blockbuster and the critically acclaimed films. Absolutely. You want to like pull off one of each.
We want to pull off one of each, absolutely.
Okay. Now speaking of Cannes award this year, for instance, most of the winning entries, the brands have tied themselves to some social cause or the other. It's always become about solving one of the world's so-called real-world problems.
Yeah.
What happened to good old-fashioned fun advertising? What happened to pugs following kids and Zuzus winning awards?
Yeah.
Is this a symptom that both agencies and clients are gaming the award system, saying, let's latch onto a social cause because we'll win an award?
I think it's cultural relevance more than anything else. I think from an overall cultural perspective across the world, and when we look at Cannes, we need to look at a larger perspective across the world. I think that's where a lot of people are right now, whether we talk about the Black Lives Matter. I think it's the cultural relevancy that each city, each country is looking at. And then the 2-year pandemic. So I think that kind of accelerated it. But yes, there is a place for it. There absolutely is a place for it. There is something that, the fun part of the awards, that is something that absolutely is needed. And I think it's better for us to also push all of us together and maybe lighten it up a bit versus where it is. So that's a good one.
Wunderman Thompson has a healthy 57 account wins in 2021. When you get so many accounts in such a short time, what are the challenges in managing those accounts?
As we look at it, there are the clients which have been with us for 30, 40, 50 years. And then there are new clients that we are winning in new parts of our business. So where we are trying to concentrate on the new wins is also the newer parts of our business that we want to win in. A lot of these are digital first wins that we are getting into. So it is strategic in terms of where we want to go. But also the challenge comes in is recruitment, finally. We need people. The industry has a dearth of talent. We're not finding enough. So I think that is the biggest challenge that we are facing, is that while we have these, we need to keep on fueling it. We've been able to do it so far, and we'll be able to get great people in. But I think the challenge will keep on going up is how do we get more and more people? So it's an industry-wide thing. We need, as an industry, to start attracting more and more talent and more people as we evolve and we go further ahead. So I think
that's why are you as an industry not opening an advertising school, for instance? I think that's been a long-standing demand of many people from the Agencies Association
absolutely.
of India.
A is advertising school. I am actually a staunch believer on just working and getting on the job
apprenticeship
training.
Model. Yeah. Okay.
Then on and don't get me wrong, that's a completely personal thought in terms of how I look at it. I would rather have a on-the-job training, or look at it this way. Let's have hackathons. Let's have people come and solve something. Because see, every person who enters today in the workforce already understands digital, already understand mediums. The exposure to content is massive across whatever they consume. So I think they have a certain level of understanding of everything that is there. It's just about taking that and utilizing in a way where they can apply for it, and then you understanding where they can. I think I would rather use more trainees, more apprenticeship, which I think if we can do it across as an industry thing, it would be great. But certainly for Wunderman Thompson, we will do that. We will have more and more trainees, more hackathons, more going to schools and working with them to really have live pitches and live briefs working on it, so that the talent really understands and get them excited about what this space is all about. When we all started, we were so excited about what advertising brings in, what marketing brings in. I think that excitement needs to come back a little bit here.
Shams, almost every agency in the world has a separate health division. Not too many have separate e-commerce or automobile divisions. Why is separate health divisions needed, and what is the future of that business?
See, health requires a very particular practice, and I'm not just talking about B2C. I'm most talking about the HCPs and how do we talk to the healthcare professionals. I think that requires a certain specialization because you need a particular language which only doctors can speak. We're not talking about this marketing language. Every piece of communication needs to have a scientific backing towards it, because when I am communicating from a healthcare perspective, it needs to have all of those things. So the clientele is very specific, as well as the people who required and the skill sets that are required also are very specific, unlike most of the other parts of the business. So that is one big reason why healthcare is a separate vertical. And I think because increasingly because we have Mirum, another great part of Mirum is that they have amazing capabilities in healthcare and talking to HCPs using digital and creating content around that. So we just thought, that's a great idea. Marry the, insights and great brand thinking that Wunderman Thompson has with the, tech and content capabilities that Mirum has, and bring it to this very unique combination that we have in the market that we are giving. I do feel that healthcare is something which is very specific. Commerce is more technology based, which now is empowering everything.
It's still a B2C.
Here it is still and there the clients are maybe 5, 10. Here you're talking about hundreds of thousands of healthcare professionals.
Understood.
So again, there the investment that is required is very specific versus what you require on the other parts of the business.
Shams, are you a cricket fan?
Oh, I love, absolutely. I used to play cricket a lot.
Correct. So if you've seen the recent Twitter chatter and online chatter about advertising, especially during cricket matches, people are groaning, saying so much opportunity, so much money, so much availability, and why is the advertising so uninspiring? So that's my question to you. What happened to 30-second commercials? Why are they also uninspiring?
I might make a lot of people angry about it, but this is your project versus your retainer kind of a model. Or let me put it this way. We need to be a lot more strategic. When you are a lot more strategic, you will be able to, talk to consumers in a very strategic manner. When it's about campaigns, it's more tactical. I think that's where it is. It's a question of tactical versus more strategic. And the more strategic you get, the better you are able to talk to consumers. But tactical has its way. So I think yes, advertising is, especially when we are talking about IPL, is much more tactical, and that also has a role. So maybe the wave of, and especially when we are looking at IPL, it is very tactical in nature. Hence, the 30-seconder is more tactical and not so much strategic. In the few of them are strategic.
But in cricket matches in the past, we used to look forward to the ad, saying the ad break is here. Put the volume on. I want to see what the next ad is. We don't do that anymore. And with OTTs coming in and ad-free platforms coming in, how are agencies going to sort of get consumers excited actually about the ad break?
Even the OTTs are now coming up with, India is an ad-funded market. Netflix is coming up with even globally is coming up with the cheapest subscription and advertising-funded revenues that are there. It's again building content, building relevancy. I think that's where it is about. It's not, you will need to be a lot more, and what OTTs allow you to do is create content which is a little more specific. So you have a lot more segmentation, a lot more targeting, and hence the content you can do spray and paint, or you can become a lot more targeted towards the consumers that you want to become. So it is a great space to be in, because I think we need to move from being just people who are talking about 30-second commercials to more content creation. And I think that space is where 30-second commercial is a part of that content stack. But you need to have a lot more which surrounds you on the content stack to take care of what OTTs are also giving in.
Right. Another thing that's been gloriously uninspiring is print advertising. Every morning I open the newspaper and I tear the first 3 pages off because it's just annoying. First 3 pages of tomatoes at 80 rupees a kilo or whatever it is. What happened to print advertising?
Again, this has all been symptomatic of the last 2 years of pandemic, where it just kind of changed everything. It changed how consumers are getting their information. I think now everyone gets their information even before it gets printed. So the relationship with the print has changed over the last few years. there has to be a lot more editorial pieces that if you want to really come back, and not just news pieces, because people are also very tired because most of the news is not great news. So I think that mix needs to still come back in terms of saying where are the editorial pieces. People actually, but brands don't want to pay for it. So it's a balancing act that is there. But yeah, I think a lot, again, coming back to the same thing, how can I use it more strategically? But I think that will still take time because the money is still with the 80 rupees onions, and it will still dominate.
That's going to dominate.
It's
I'm going
economics.
to continue to tear off the first 3 pages of a newspaper.
It's still economics that will govern it.
All right, Shams Jasani, thank you very much for talking
Pleasure,
to us.
absolute pleasure. Nice talking to you too. Thank you.
That's a wrap on this episode. You can follow Melt on social media. The handle is Ready to Melt, or simply log on to readytomelt.com. If you'd like to follow me, it's @Suvenk on Twitter. Till next week, goodbye and thanks for watching.